Good afternoon. It's Friday, definitely a wet Friday. I'm getting quite a bit of rain out there. I talked to someone earlier since yesterday afternoon, evening, till about now, and we've got about an inch and 3/4 here in Stromsburg. So quite a bit. I was kind of hoping we'd get some rain yesterday just because I'd had my lawn fertilized and it hadn't rained yet, and so I hadn't been able to mow, so I'm going to have someone come and bale my grass just because it's so tall. But all jokes aside, it's really nice to have some rain, and it's going to definitely bring everything really just up nice and green, and especially with the gardens and whatnot and all the crops out in the field. So definitely thankful for the water. I do not have a lot of updates by way of Polk County Senior Services. I do know that come June 1st, there is going to be less restrictions as far as how many people can gather together. I think it was up to 25 instead of just 10. I did reach out to our local health department just to see if there are any new measures in regards to that, so that we can open up centers, what that would look like, and if we do open them up, what kind of precautions do we need to take? Are there any specific health measures that we need to follow so that people will stay safe? I know that some churches in the area, they're having services, but they're requiring their congregates to wear a face mask, things like that. So just trying to figure that out, and once they communicate that information to me, I will reach out to all of you and let me know and say I just sent out the email today. So I would imagine that maybe get it at the end of the day or the beginning of next week. We'll just have to wait and see. But once I hear that, I will talk with you about it. Otherwise, everything else has been running very smoothly. No issues. Meals continue to go out. Today was the first day that we actually hit 30 home delivery meal participants, which is great. Another time we got really close. We were at 30, but then we had a couple people call and cancel the meal, so we dropped to 28. So today we had our first mile marker of hitting 30, so that was awesome. So, yeah. But my main reason I wanted to reach out to you today is just to talk about this Memorial Day weekend, and then specifically more Memorial Day on Monday. I found a really good article I wanted to read to you just about the history of Memorial Day and what it really does mean to all of us. So I'm going to read that to you here this afternoon. It says, Memorial Day is an American holiday observed on the last Monday of May, honoring the men and women who died while serving in the United States military. Memorial Day 2020 occurs on Monday, May 25th. Originally known as Decoration Day, it originated in the years following the Civil War and became an official federal holiday in 1971. Many Americans observe Memorial Day by visiting cemeteries or memorials, holding family gatherings, and participating in parades. Unofficially, it marks the beginning of the summer season. The Civil War, which ended in the spring of 1865, claimed more lives than any conflict in U.S. history and required the establishment of the country's first national cemeteries. By the late 1860s, Americans in various towns and cities had begun holding springtime tributes to these countless fallen soldiers, decorating their graves with flowers and reciting prayers. And did you know that each year on Memorial Day, a national moment of remembrance takes place at 3 p.m. local time? And it is unclear where exactly this tradition originated. Numerous different communities may have independently initiated the memorial gatherings. And some records show that one of the earliest Memorial Day commemorations was organized by a group of freed slaves in Charleston, South Carolina, less than a month after the Confederacy surrendered in 1865. Nevertheless, in 1966, the federal government declared Waterloo, New York, the official birthplace of Memorial Day. Waterloo, which first celebrated the day on May 5th, 1866, was chosen because it hosted an annual community-wide event during which businesses closed and residents decorated the graves of soldiers with flowers and flags. On May 5th, 1868, General John A. Logan, leader of an organization for Northern Civil War veterans, called for a nationwide day of remembrance later that month. The 30th of May, 1868, it designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land, he proclaimed. The date of Decoration Day, as he called it, was chosen because it wasn't the anniversary of any particular battle. On the first Decoration Day, General James Garfield made a speech at Arlington's National Cemetery, and 5,000 participants decorated the graves of the 20,000 Union and Confederate soldiers buried there. Many northern states held similar commemorative events and reprised the tradition in subsequent years. By 1890, each one had made a Decoration Day an official state holiday. Southern states, on the other hand, continued to honor their dead on separate days until after World War I. Confederate Memorial Day is still celebrated in several states and will be on Sunday, April 26, 2020 in Florida, on Monday, April 27, 2020 in Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi, and on May 11, 2020 in parts of South Carolina. The practice of commemorating the Confederacy became even more controversial after the massacre at the Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston in 2015. Memorial Day, as Decoration Day gradually became to be known as, originally honored only those who lost fighting in the Civil War, but during World War I, the United States found itself embroiled in another major conflict, and the holiday evolved to commemorate American military personnel who died in all wars, including World War II, the Vietnam War, Korean War, and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. For decades, Memorial Day continued to be observed on May 30th, the date Logan had selected for the first Decoration holiday. But in 1968, Congress passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which established the Memorial Day as the last Monday in May in order to create a 3-day weekend for federal employees. The change went into effect in 1971. The same law also declared Memorial Day a federal holiday. Cities and towns across the United States host Memorial Day parades each year, often incorporating military personnel and members of veterans organizations. Some of the largest parades take place in Chicago, New York, and Washington, D.C. Americans also observe Memorial Day by visiting cemeteries and memorials. Some people wear a red poppy in remembrance of those fallen in war, a tradition that began with a World War I poem. That was an article I thought that you guys would enjoy hearing. There's a lot of that stuff I didn't know as far as Memorial Day and the history and where it began. So it's good to have those reminders or just education in general. So we are so thankful for what the men and women, the sacrifices that they've made in service to our country and laying down their lives for all of us so we can enjoy the freedoms that we have today. And we do take a special time out to thank all the men and women that have served and who are currently serving now. So we just thank you for what you are doing and you have done. And I just pray that you all have a great weekend and just a great Memorial Day. And remember to take out that time on Monday at 3 p.m. and have that minute of silence, remembering all of those that have lost their lives in service to our country. So thank you for watching this video. Have a great weekend.